evening. So we're going to take a look at New Belgium's Glutiny series. This is the pale ale. There's also a golden ale, and this beer is crafted to remove gluten. Now, as I've said before about gluten-free beers, this is actually a gluten-reduced beer. And it actually says gluten content of this product cannot be verified, and this product may contain gluten. So if you actually have a gluten sensitivity or intolerance, then this beer is not for you. If you're just trying to not consume as much gluten, these gluten-reduced beers could be of value, and I think might taste better than some of the grain alternatives, such as beers made with, I can't even think of what it is called. Anyway, every time I've had it, I thought it was awful. Anyway, I'll remember it later. So this is New Belgium, and so I feel confident that this should be a good beer. So let's see. It is 6% alcohol by volume, and 30 IBUs. This is made with ale yeast, and then Cascade, Chinook, Crystal, and Equinox hops, and then the malts are Munich, C80, and black. And so you can see it has a little bit of color to it, even though it's a pale ale. And so pale ales tend to be hop forward. That's what we're expecting. So let's give this an examination here. Aroma-wise, I'm getting mostly just bitterness. I can't really decide what that bitterness is, and this I poured too much for me to swirl this too much. Kind of sweet. Color-wise, it's a beautiful deep golden color. It looks like it's pretty carbonated, and it did pour with a head that looks like it's going to at least stick around for a little while. All right, here we go on flavor. This beer's not that bad. I have had some god-awful gluten-free or gluten-reduced beers, and so now I'm always skeptical because, and I've had somebody say that they completely and totally disagreed with me. So I guess, try them and see if you like them. If you're looking for a gluten alternative or at least a gluten-reduced beer. Anyway, but this one I recommend. The flavor is pretty low, mild. It's not necessarily what I would expect for a pale ale, which tends to be a little bit more hop forward, but it's drinkable. There's like a little bit of a hop kind of stirring around in the back. Nice clean finish. It does have some bitterness, like right at the end, like on the outside of the tongue, like right at the end, like a little hop finish at the end. But all in all, it's not awful, and it's certainly not nearly as awful as I've had with some gluten-free beers, or grain alternative beers even. So I feel like grain alternative beers are strange, and I guess ultimately, it's made with grain, and grain has gluten. So it's tricky to get all the gluten out. And then also you're changing the fundamental structure of the beverage, and so it's going to taste different. But if you like beer a lot and you want a gluten-reduced beer, then this seems like it's a pretty good one. It actually talks a little bit about, on their website, talks a little bit about how they do it. So lucky for us, there's another way to produce. Oh, so they've done these alternatives. experimenting with grains, gluten-free grains such as quinoa, millet, sorghum, which is the worst, and rice. Sorghum beer, hate. That's what I was talking about earlier. While the resulting flavors were interesting, beers made with these grains tasted just like the grain from which they were produced, not the same flavor we have come to expect from beer made with barley malt. The method that they're using involves the use of an enzyme or protein with a specific function that breaks down gluten into smaller fragments. We add this enzyme in the brewing process and analyze the finished beer in the lab using industry-supported R5 competitive ELISA method. This creates a beer with all of the barley malt derived flavor without the gluten. And then it goes on to say that the gluten content of this beer cannot be verified and it may contain gluten. So they're certainly trying to answer a definite need in the market for gluten-reduced or gluten-free beer, but also being respectful of the fact that it needs to taste like beer. I mean, that's why people are picking up a beer, because they like the beer flavor. Cheers, New Belgium, for this. This is a drinkable product. I appreciate that a lot. And I feel like, many more, it opens the market up to a lot of people who just have a sensitivity or are looking for lifestyle reasons to reduce the gluten in their diet. Those of you that have severe reactions to gluten, I still feel like this is an iffy product because it can't guarantee that it's actually gluten-free, so drink with caution. This is a beer I recommend. I think this is only the second brewery that's made a gluten-free or reduced beer that I've enjoyed. So the endorsement does not come lightly. If this is a beer that you have tried, share with me your thoughts. And if you happen to be gluten intolerant, I'm curious to know about your experience specifically. Did you find that it upset your system or what? I'm curious about that. Anyway, there you go. New Belgium Glutiny Pale Ale, and they do offer the gluten-free or crafted to reduce gluten version as golden ale. So if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit less hoppy, that's the way to go. That one's 5.2% alcohol by volume and 20 IBUs, as opposed to this one, which is 6% and 30 IBUs. So cool. There you go. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.